Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. It seems like almost every week, if not every other week at this point, we're getting some small bits of information regarding MW2, aka MW 2022, aka Call of Duty 2022, the next Call of Duty title. And while obviously it is still a ways away from releasing, today we got some very interesting news. I feel like interesting is the best way to describe it. It could be viewed as good news if you're really excited for MW 2022. It could also be viewed as bad news though, depending on how you feel about the game and how excited you are for it regardless. And also we got some other information regarding future COD titles, including MW2, that is going to be ideally a good change for COD in general as a franchise. So as we go over it all, if you enjoy the video at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it, would be seriously appreciated. And of course, if you're new to the channel or if you have not already subscribed, right around 56% of viewers watching are not subbed yet. And every single day, I got you covered with everything going on in COD. News, updates, loadouts, tips, it is all right here. So feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. And also, if you don't follow me over on Twitter, I'm always talking the latest COD news over there as well. It's a quick place to get some early info before the videos get posted. Feel free to follow me over there at WhosImmortal. Anyway, when it comes to any leaks or any rumors or any stuff like this that we talk about here on the channel, same story as always. Take everything with a pinch of salt. You know, this stuff is all subject to change, especially when we're talking COD 2022, which is, you know, still 10 plus months out at this point. That's a lot of time for things to be updated, for things to change, especially the main topic of today, which is how potentially MW 2022 could actually be releasing early because Vanguard is, well, Vanguard. It's not in the greatest shape, and it definitely has not been received as I'm sure Call of Duty and, you know, the higher ups at Activision would have liked it to be received. It's definitely been on the lower end of sales compared to some of the previous Call of Duty games. But this first main topic here, this first bit of information stems from Tom Henderson. It's a name you guys have heard time and time again on the channel in the past. He's very credible when it comes to insider information, different leaks and different rumors. He's predicted a lot of things correctly and accurately, and it's built a very credible track record. So it's worth talking about, I feel like, the leaks and the rumors that he puts out here because of his history with that stuff and with that info. So recently he tweeted out saying, as expected, it's looking like this year's Call of Duty title, Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 2022, will be revealed in the summer. Hearing rumblings that the title could release in October due to Vanguard's poor sales performance, with a big Warzone update coming soon after. So while this is not the biggest tweet in the world, there's actually a lot to dissect from this if this information turns out to be true. So first up, the initial reveal for MW 2022 should be in the summer. Now, previously for Vanguard and for Cold War, we saw some of the latest Call of Duty reveals ever, just months before they actually released in, you know, very late summer, semi-early fall, and they were done through in-game events in Warzone. Honestly, I would expect a similar thing to happen this year. However, it might happen earlier on into the year. Usually, you know, you look back at CODs before Warzone, everything was pretty much always revealed around E3. You know, in June, I think that's when E3 usually falls. That's when we'd see the big panel from Activision, and they'd go ahead and they'd show initial footage from the campaign. They'd reveal the new Call of Duty, and the hype would build up from there. A month later, we'd get multiplayer info, and then multiplayer footage, and then we'd get Spec Ops footage or Zombies footage, and then we'd actually have the launch. Whereas now, everything seems very bunched up and, you know, last second because it's only a couple of months out from release when we first get that initial reveal via Warzone. But in my opinion, the fact that they're pushing for an earlier reveal here, according to Tom, is good news. I feel like in the past, especially when we look at the states of Cold War and Vanguard upon launch, they were definitely not finished or polished games. Vanguard, I think, was a lot better than Cold War. Cold War was just a, you know, a big yikes in the form of a COD game, but they were very rushed CODs. It's apparent through their dev cycle. It's apparent after launch. Modern Warfare 2022, though, is going to be the first COD since 2019 where we had that full 3-year dev cycle. It should be launching finished. It should be launching polished. And the fact that it looks like we're already going to see an earlier release, to me says, hey, this game is in a good state right now. Now, moving on to that second part of Tom's tweet, hearing rumblings that the title could release in October due to Vanguard's poor sales performance with a big Warzone update coming soon after, again, to me, says, hey, this game's in a good state. We're confident that we can push up the release because obviously the past couple of years, the game has ended up releasing in November, which is the usual COD release date. We've had a couple of CODs drop in October. I feel like it didn't make the biggest difference, but even the past few years with their November release dates and them not being super finished is a little bit worrying. But again, sort of speaking to the same point, the fact that they're willing to potentially push this up a little bit earlier to me is good news for the state of MW 2022 at the moment. They're confident that the game's going to be finished and going to be polished on launch. At the same time, this could be viewed as bad news because the biggest complaint with, multiplayer consumers for COD right now and that multiplayer audience is stop releasing these games when they're not ready to be released. Stop releasing them when they're unpolished and they're unfinished. And pushing a title up by a couple of weeks even does mean that, yeah, potentially those extra few weeks could have been time where they spent fixing a few glitches, polishing off a few things. It might release in a less finished state than it would if it dropped a month later, in November instead of October. Like I said at the start, it sort of just depends on how you view the situation. It definitely is good news if you want MW2 to be here and you just want to play it. It could be viewed as bad news though if you're not super looking forward to playing another game that potentially could launch and have issues that a AAA title shouldn't. I don't feel like that's gonna be the case with this game. The dev cycle is back to normal. It's Infinity Ward. They're consistent with their games. I feel like we're in for a good year with MW 2022, but definitely some interesting news there. I also like the fact that the big Warzone update, the integration I would assume for MW 2022 would probably be happening a bit earlier on into the year, or into the end of the year, I guess I should say, as opposed to like a couple weeks before the holidays. And then we get the repeat situation of Cold War and Vanguard's integrations where it launches, it's fun for a bit, but then they all go on break and there's no updates and the game's very broken and things need to be updated, and they don't for 2 weeks because they're not in office. So getting that Warzone update in there earlier, I feel like would also mean good things for the overall state of the game because they'd be there at launch and for, that longer time after it launching and after being integrated to fix things and to update things where they need to be fixed and updated. Now, moving into our second piece of newer information today, this is coming from Ralph's Valve, who also is a name that we've mentioned before on the channel. He's also building a pretty credible track record. He's, fact checked some stuff with Tom Henderson in the past about stuff being more accurate that he's heard. And recently he also came out and said that apparently moving forward, Activision plans for every single studio to employ Infinity Ward's primary engine, which I believe is called IW8. And that's the engine that we saw initially debut in MW 2019. We also had a version of it in Vanguard, and Warzone's got that as well. This would basically mean that Infinity Ward, Treyarch, Sledgehammer, Raven, whoever is creating these new Call of Duty experiences will be building off of the same engine every year, upgrading it, adding to it, instead of constantly bouncing back and forth between Infinity Ward's engine, Treyarch's engine, so on and so forth. In general, this is going to make the Call of Duty games all feel a bit more similar. Now, when it comes down to the engine, this doesn't mean every game is going to be a copy and paste. For instance, Warzone right now and Vanguard are sharing the same engine tech, but obviously they play a bit different. The movement is a little bit different. The audio is a little bit different. It doesn't mean every single game is going to feel exactly like Modern Warfare 2019, but you'd have things like the visuals looking a lot more similar to one another. You'd have audio probably being a bit more similar to each other in terms of not necessarily like footstep audio, but the way that it bounces around the world, the way that, it builds this environment around you. That was a big thing when Infinity Ward first revealed this engine for MW 2019. In general, to me, this is good news as well, because if this is the case and every single COD game in the future is built off of the same engine, it's upgraded every year, it's made a little bit more advanced every year, that means things are going to be smoother from one title to the other. That also means good news for Warzone. It's easier to integrate the game into Warzone instead of having to port things over and them not looking as good in one game versus the other, or them being very busted in terms of how they behave, or whatever the case may be. It's a smoother transition from year to year. It's also a smoother transition to Warzone. Sharing the same engine, I feel like, is definitely good news. Obviously, each studio sort of has its own touch on COD. Infinity Ward's a little bit more realistic, a little bit more gritty. Treyarch games are usually a bit more arcadey. Sledgehammer's got a nice mix in between the two, so I'm sure they'll each all have their unique touch, but the core gameplay should feel a lot smoother and a lot more consistent from year to year. So yeah, with all that being said, that is effectively all the current leaks and rumors, the new leaks and rumors that we've got for MW 2022 or MW2. Definitely good news all around in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below though. But if you enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. Would be seriously appreciated. And of course, if you're new to the channel or if you have not already subscribed, this is the best place to be for all things going on in COD. Between news, updates, loadouts, tips, I got you covered every single day. So feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. As always, if you want to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code IMMORTAL for a discount on all Scuff, G Fuel, Gamer Advantage, and Control Freak products. The links for all those can be found down in the description below. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.